Okay, Be'ezrat Hashem, Na'aseh v'natzliach. I'd like to welcome everyone to Ironside Lunch Learn. I want to give an honorable mention to our gracious hosts, Ofer Mizrahi, Judah Mendel, that always give us the use of the space and are constantly promoting it and bringing people to the class, as well as to our food sponsor, Hummus Factory from Oakwood Plaza in Hollywood. Delicious food, fresh, everyone is very enjoyable. All of you have big atzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedechem, and Bezrat Hashem you have big spiritual success and financial success. I also want to give an honorable mention to some of the new faces in the room, some of the regulars. Good to see you guys over here. Bezrat Hashem, we see you again. This week's parasha is Parashat Shoftim. The parasha begins with the pasuk. It's a famous pasuk. Shoftim v'shoterim titen lecha bechol she'arecha asher Hashem Elohecha noten lecha shoftecha v'shaftu et ha'am mishpat tzedek. And we have over here Moshe Rabbeinu, as we said, we're in Sefer Devarim, Mishneh Torah. All four books were transmitted from God to Moshe. This fifth book in the Chumash, Moshe is passing on information, a review of the past four books to Am Yisrael. So this is Moshe speaking now to the Jewish nation. And he's instructing them. He's telling them, listen, you're going to become a new society, a new culture, a new nation. In order to do that, you will need law and order. You're going to need to have people that carry out justice, like judges, like officers, in order for what? To protect you from anarchy, to protect you from people acting as judge and jury on their own. You know, there's a lot of different characters in the world. Not everybody can make the right decision. Imagine if we all went around and we decided what's the right thing and what's the wrong thing to do in life. Now we have, Moshe Rabbeinu was telling us it's not going to be like that. We need officers to carry out the law and judges to implement it. And that's how the society should carry itself. In order for us to avoid every single person imposing their own justice and their own truth. But if you look a little bit closer at the pasuk, it says, "Shoftim v'shotarim titen lecha." It says, judges and officers you should put upon you, singular. Isn't Moshe Rabbeinu talking to the nation? Shouldn't he say lachem, to you as a group of people, or as to the nation? Why is he saying that you should put judges and officers upon yourself in a singular term? In order to understand this, you have to understand that every single parasha in the Chumash has a unique connection to the week that it falls on. This parasha couldn't have been any other week but this week. It couldn't have happened in Kislev. It couldn't happen in Nisan. It has to happen in the month of Elul. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu is talking to us through this week's parasha. When he says, Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha, and we're right now right in the midst of a very important month, the month of Elul. This is the month of Teshuvah. This is the month of self-introspect. This is when you take stock of all of your last year's successes and failures, both spiritually and in other departments. And then you start to make the Teshuvah. Where was I wrong? Where could I be better? What's my new path? What am I leaving behind? And not only that, Elul is known to be known as the month of Binah, the month of elevated consciousness and understandings. The rabbis tell us that you can connect Elul, that has the gematria of 67, to the word Binah, that also has the gematria of 67. And the reason why those two words have the same gematria is because they have the same connection on this month. That on this month, God gives us something unique. He gives us an elevated level of understanding. So on this month of Elul, you're able to judge yourself. You're able to judge yourself and be an officer upon yourself. As a matter of fact, there's many special acronyms that people give to the Chodesh Elul. And the most famous one is Ani ledodi v'dodi li. But for this class, I found a special one. Elul stands for Aleph Lamed Vav Lamed. Aleph is Echad Lemala Vesheva Lemata. 1 above and 7 below. That's what Elul stands for. What is this 1 above and 7 below? So the 1 above, there's only one thing that's above us. That's God. This is the time to think about God. As a matter of fact, you don't have to think about him as he is in the high heavens. He's in the room with us right now. He's all around us. It's 40-day period where the king is in the field, where we've just begun that period of time. So you have to think about Echad Lemala. The king is the Kadosh Baruch Hu. When it refers to Sheva Lemata, what is the Sheva Lemata? What are the 7 that are below? So for this, we'll introduce you to a concept. Did you know that your face is actually a menorah? You're a candelabra. What kind of a candelabra? You have 7 entries, 7 gates to your mind. And they draw a menorah. So you have the 2 ears, that's 2. You have the 2 eyes, that's another 2. You have the 2 nostrils, that's another 2, and then you have the mouth, that's 1. You have a little menorah inside of you. So the 7 below that we're talking about is the 2 ears, the 2 eyes, the 2 nostrils, and the mouth. And this is the month that we take a look at the 7 below. Now, how do we use our eyes? How do we use our ears? How do we use our nose? How do we use our mouth? Keep in mind that these are all gateways to one place, our mind. These are all gateways to our brain. And whatever goes inside our ears, our mouth, or our eyes, it all registers in one place. It's the mind. So if you think about it, if it's the ears, what do we think about? How can you use the ears correctly? You come to a Torah class, you listen to a Dvar Torah, you're driving, you put a class from a rabbi, or you're constantly using your ears for something good. Or the opposite, Lashon Hara, all day long gossiping, talking about other people. There's 2 ways you can activate that portal, either for it to be a good entry or a bad entry. Eyes, the most difficult one out of all. The most difficult one out of all, especially for men. How do you use your eyes? Do you protect your eyes? Do we allow everything to enter our eyes? If it's Facebook, if it's the internet, if it's movies, we just open up our eyes. Yeah, whatever comes in, comes in. You go, you press play on a movie. Do you know what the next scene is going to be? You go on Facebook, you're scrolling up and down. Do you know what the next post is going to be? How about when you go on, sometimes you just go to read the news. You scroll, you go all the way down, all of a sudden all the filth is on the bottom. Click here for a vacation, all of a sudden you go on a vacation, then 1,000 pictures of, I don't know what, you have to go to a mikveh before you can continue the day. How do you use your eyes? How do you protect your eyes? How do you protect your nose? Nose, we have a sense of smell. There's a few mitzvot that we can do with the nose. You smell besamim and Motzei Shabbat. But so for people that are a little bit higher in their spiritual level, it's hard for them to smell a perfume of a girl. It brings up foreign thoughts. Do you put yourself in a situation like that? Religious men, you see them, sometimes they don't go into the same elevator. Why? They're not going to look at them, they're not. But all those scents, you feel like you're walking through a perfume store if you're in an elevator. I'm not saying we're on that level, but see, certain people are. So you have to protect your nose. How about your mouth? How about your mouth? What comes out of that mouth? Every time you're opening up your mouth, are you speaking Torah? You have Torah concepts on the tip of your tongue? What are you talking about all the time? Is it something that has to do with positivity, Judaism, religion? Or just nonsense, hevel havalim, that's coming out of the mouth? Or, the worst of all, Lashon Hara, which is so easy. It's so easy. We're so desensitized to speaking about other people. How about eating what we eat? Are you 100% kosher? Do you keep? Are you watching what you're putting in your mouth? Do you have an officer and a judge? When you pick that up, is there an hechsher? Is this kosher? Is this not kosher? Do I put it down? Do I not eat it down? Do you have a judge judging? Do you have an officer enforcing? You can't just put anything in your mouth. We're Jewish. We have to keep kosher. So you see that these portals are very, very important. And you have to sit down with yourself and think, what did I do with these 7 portals? Were they breached? Did things break through when they weren't supposed to? What's the repercussion? So now, let's just say if Chas v'Shalom, it did happen, and you know what? I want to tell you, it happened to everyone. You know why? Because that's life. To some more, to some less. But Elul, when you're supposed to think about Echad lemala v'sheva lemata, it's time to repair that. It's time to check yourself into a synagogue or into a class, or just sit down with yourself and say, you know what, Hashem, I didn't eat kosher. Hashem, I didn't look at the right things. Hashem, I didn't listen to the right things. I'm sorry. I'm doing teshuvah. I regret it. And I'm taking upon myself to not do it again. And if I do it again, I'm going to try again not to do it again. And over again until I get it right. It's the month of teshuvah. You have to take those few moments and do that with yourself. You have to sit down and be real. You can't just be so busy all the time that you don't have time to sit down and take account of your own actions. You know, all these portals lead to one place. It leads to the mind. You know, the neshama, where does the neshama live? Where does our soul live? It's right here. Right, it's right here. So we have to protect it. And you see that we have to protect not only our neshama, but we also have to protect our mind. Because the mind is the shofet. The mind, that's the judge. It thinks, should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Is this right? Is this wrong? The mind is the judge. What is the officer? What is the shoter? The Shla Kadosh says, Yirat Shamayim is the shoter. The fear of God is the police officer. So, to understand this, you have to understand one concept. We are all here under the honor system. Hashem trusts us to do the right thing. Hashem instilled in us a concept called Yirat Hashem, that because you have a fear of God, you're going to police yourself not to do a sin. Yirat Shamayim is your police officer. Your mind is the judge. Your Yirat Shamayim, your fear of God, is how you police yourself. It says over there in the pasuk, Shoftim v'shomrim, Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha bechol sha'arecha. Why does it say titen lecha? You have to guard yourself. You are responsible for yourself. You have to guard yourself. The Rav Meir Eliyahu says, where do you guard yourself? He says the next word, bechol sha'arecha. Where are you responsible to guard yourself? In all your gateways, in all your portals. What's sha'arecha? He had something very interesting. He said sha'arecha is shinaim, enaim, raglaim, yadaim, v'krisecha. He says, how do you, he gave like another chidush. What's sha'arecha? What are these portals? He says, add to it that it's also your shinaim. Why? This blocks food from entering in. This also closes the mouth so your tongue doesn't speak out. He says, guard your shinaim. He says, enaim, what's the eyes? Eyes, we have guards. What's the eyes that we have? You see the mouth, it's a double-sided sword. We have the teeth and the lips to block the tongue from coming. It's like, before something comes out, we have 2 gates. The enaim, what do we have? We have the eyelids. Hashem gave us the eyelids for what? So when there's something not proper and you can't turn away, you could do something. What can you do? You close your eyes. You always have a way out. By the way, ears also. The reason why there's a cartilage over here, the rabbis tell us so you can fold it and not hold. And like that you don't have to listen. Even if you're in a place. Could have been a different type of structure over there. Raglaim, we know that our feet take us places. Take us places. In our yadayim maskaniot, we're always doing something. It says, watch out for that also. Those things also lead for you to use your senses in the wrong way. But the best one that he used over there on Sha'arecha is the Chaf, Kirsecha. He says, you have to guard your belly. He says, why? He says, part of protecting yourself is protecting your health. You have to protect your health. You have to protect what goes into that belly. Not everything is healthy. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm trying to find out what's the right way to live life. What's the right way to eat? And lately I've been taking classes of rabbis that are very learned in nutrition. And you won't believe. You won't believe that, we're really almost like in a numb, comfortably numb, or in a stupor about how society is living life. All the food that's in the supermarkets is absolutely poison. It's all bad. If it's the flour, if it's the sugars, if it's the salt, if it's the candies, if it's all the products, everything there is artificial. I can give you from the maybe 10 hours of lessons that I've taken so far, I can give you a quick lesson. If it doesn't come off of a tree, and if it doesn't come out from the ground, don't touch it. If you have to hear this before you get to your food, like a wrapper or something, just drop it. Anything that comes in a wrapper, don't touch it. All these things that they put for shelf life, it's absolute poison. All these substitutes. This is on your belly too. Half of the diseases that are happening today is because the body can't process all these artificial products that are in our foods. It's clogged up. It doesn't know what to do with it. So what does it do? It keeps spinning it around. It doesn't know how to excrete it. So it keeps going around in our body, and eventually what happens? It just clogs up. Because the body needs something that it can digest and excrete. Be careful with your belly too, with what you eat. That's also something that you have to guard. Furthermore, it says, there's a famous pasuk that says, Pitchu li sha'ar tzedek. It says, Hashem says, open for me the gate of the just. Avobam. Then I will come in them. He says, what? He says, when a person opens up his gates, but for tzedek, his ears, he opens it up for divrei Torah. His eyes, only when he's, doing something proper. His food, only when it's kosher, when he's speaking, not speaking Lashon Hara. Every time that he opens up his gate, it's for something good. He says, you know what, Avobam. Then I'm going to reveal myself, or to get involved with them. Why? Because they keep the gates holy. Vasuli Mikdash, and it says Vasuli Mikdash, and then they'll make me a sanctuary. V'shachanti betocham. Then I can live inside of them. You have to understand these portals. They're also constituting what type of a person you are. If everything bad or wrong is going inside of you, Hashem's Shekhinah will never be inside of you, because there's klipot. Hashem says, but if you keep these gates clean and kosher, v'patachta bli sha'arei tzedek, avobam. I'll come and I'll be there. And then it comes to the pasuk, v'shachanti betocham, and I will live amongst them. Where? We always say Hashem is living inside of us. But what kind of a home are you giving Him? What kind of a dwelling are you giving Him? Hashem doesn't live in every single place. Another interesting point in this parasha, it says, v'shaftu ta'am mishpat tzedek. It says, and these judges and these officers should judge the nation of Israel, mishpat tzedek, a just judgment. So, what does that mean? Why should it be a just judgment? Why is he giving us that instruction? He says, because typically, how do we judge? We have like a teva, a nature to judge other people unjustly. We find flaws in others and not in ourselves. Every time we look at somebody, right away, the first thing that we see is what's wrong with them. There's a mashal. There's a mashal of a guy that went to the market. And as soon as he went to the market, it's like, what's this smell over here? This market, this shuk is stinky. You can see I have a little kid at home. I'm using the word stinky. Then he continues and he comes next to the people. He's like, oh, look at the people in this shuk. Oh, they're all smelly and disgusting. He goes home He opens up the house. He opens up what's going on? The house smells. It's stinky over here. He comes to his wife, to his children. Everything here is smell. Everything is rotten. His friend comes over to him and tells him, my dear friend, your shirt is completely filthy. The whole time what you've been smelling is you've been smelling yourself. Sometimes we go around town just telling everybody what's wrong with you, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with you, what's wrong with you. But in reality, everything that's wrong is you're the one that's wrong. Because we judge people. And they say, there's also a famous pasuk that says, Kol haposel bemumo posel. Every time that you cancel out somebody or you judge somebody, you know how you judge him? In your flaw first. Meaning, if you're an angry person, the first thing you pick up on him, that guy's a very angry person. If, God forbid, a person is a thief or he's a crook, he tells you know what, I don't trust that guy. You know why? Because posel bemumo. He says, the only reason why is because you have it in you. That's why you see it in him. So oftentimes when you're judging people and you see what's wrong with them, it's actually a reflection of you. Now that we explained that, you can read the pasuk differently. It says, Kodem shoftim veshotrim titen lecha. First put the judges and the officers on you. Judge yourself and police yourself. And then veshaftutam. Then you can go and judge the other people. Don't just go out there if you weren't able to judge yourself first. You know, the rabbis tell us that Mashiach will come when Shoftim and Shotim yichelu ma'aretz. It says Mashiach will come when all the judges and all the police officers will finish in this world. Yikalu ba'aretz. It says why? If you turn on the news, you can see why. Nowadays we have like this huge army that it's in the pocket of this little tyrant. Or we have this superpowered nation that's selling weapons to this rogue Arab nation. What's going on? All these people that are in power, all these shoftim, I decide you get $1 million worth of rifles. And then there's the shoftim, and we're going to decide who's going to die because they're not the same religion, the same thinking. We have too many judges, we have too many shoftim and too many shoftim. It says when Mashiach comes, the world's going to get cleaned up from this mentality. All these worlds deciding what's wrong, what's right, all these shoftim, all these judges, all these opinions. Even in America, you see all this division, all of a sudden, there's no unity anymore. Everybody wants to implement their way of thinking. So you see now, when there's all these different opinions in the world, you know Mashiach is coming. All these shoftim. He's going to get rid of all these shotrim. You know, in this day and age, we're right now, since we're speaking about Mashiach, we're in Ikvata de Mashiach. We're in the heels of Mashiach. It means this is the age of Mashiach. This is the time to do teshuvah. This is the time to merit the Geulah. So you have, during these times, you have to stand guard at your gates. Because how does the Yetzer Hara works? Just when you close your eyes and say, I don't want to do it over there he gets you on the phone. Just when you turn off the phone, he gets you on Facebook. He gets you on Facebook, he gets you on the television. Anywhere you go, he's like a little, he's a zvuv. They call him a zvuv, they call him a fly. Why? Because like an annoying flea, every time you try to shoo him away, he comes back. Every time you try to shoo him away, he comes back. And sometimes in your ear, sometimes in your nose, sometimes in your mouth, sometimes in your eyes. Always he's coming. So you have to stay in guard. You have to protect your mind. Because the Yetzer Hara, if you read to the next pasuk, it says, Ki hashochad ya'aver chachamim v'yisalev divrei tzadikim. What does he do? He tries to make deals with you. He's like, you're not looking at something bad. There's something way worse. This is nothing. This is not, you're not eating non-kosher. It's only cheese, it's only bread, it's only pizza. He knows how to sell you on it. He says, be careful. He knows how to make good deals. He knows how to talk you out of things. He says, don't make deals. Put guards. This month is Elul, Chodesh HaRachamim. It's Chodesh of the Selichot. This is the month of mercy. And we said that this is the month of Binah. This is a month that there's in it the energy to be smarter. You have in it the energy to have a higher level of understanding, A higher level of introspect. Hashem gave it to us on this month. Elul equals Binah. Why? Sit down with yourself and think. Hashem will give you the answers. You'll be able to find what's wrong. You'll be able to find what needs to be repaired. Hashem put that energy into this month so you can be able to do it. Give yourself a chance to find out what your teshuvah process is. The whole month is made for that. You know, you want to judge yourself before you get judged. As long as you're judging yourself down here, what's going to happen is that they're not going to judge you upstairs, because two courthouses can't function at the same time. Bet Din Shel Mala cannot be in session while Bet Din Shel Mata is working. So as long as Bet Din Shel Mata, you are here judging yourself, you know what upstairs they say, case pending. Case pending. We have to push it off until we can see what he came up with, and then we'll deal with what he came up with. So as long as you're judging yourself, you're buying yourself time, and you're also not getting judged. So it's a good time to do the introspect. One last thing, you know, I couldn't let this class finish without this particular thing. In the Amidah, we say it 3 times a day, so many times a year. It says, Hashiva Shofteinu Kavrishona. There's a berachah that says, return to us our judges like before. Do you know what those judges used to be back in the days? These shoftim were, let's just say, like rabbis that you can come to, and they were able to tell you what is your essence. For example, a person could actually walk to the shofet and tell him, hey, I'm lost. I don't know what to do with myself. They sit down with him, they talk to him, and they find out exactly what his purpose in life is. Look what this, I don't know if you ever paid attention to it, but it says, Hashiva Shofteinu Kavrishona. Return to us our judges like before, like in the beginning. Veyoatzenu kavatechila. And our advisors like before. Because that's what they used to be. They used to be advisors. Imagine, as Jews, we still have advisors. Baruch Hashem, we have our rabbis. We go to them, they give us advice. But back in the days, you used to have the shoftim. It says, "V'aser mimenu yagon v'anacha," and relieve from us anguish and how do you say anacha? Escaped my mind right now. It says, why do we ask for them to remove yagon v'anacha from us, like anguish and despair? Because anytime that you feel anguish or you feel despair, or you feel depressed, you should know that these are the emotions that belong to Yetzer Hara. He's got his grip on you. And why? Because we're lost. We're lost. Back in the days, we used to have yoatzim, we used to have shoftim. They used to let us know what we need to do. We used to be happy. But because we don't have the yoatzim, because we don't have the shoftim, we have yagon and anacha. So Be'ezrat Hashem, that we merit to the Geulah with true judges in our gates, and that Be'ezrat Hashem will be able to have the right teshuvah season, and we'll all be able to activate all the spiritual energy that's around us. This week's spiritual energy is to judge yourself and to see how you used your 7 below to serve the 1 above. Be'ezrat Hashem, Hashem v'ech otchem v'sameach etchem. Shabbat Shalom Mevorach, and maybe we can get the rabbi to blow the shofar for the season.
Look at this.
Thank you, Rabbi.
People watching this.